Hi, everyone. Earl here with another episode of the Cryptopolitan podcast. And today's guest is Christina. Christina, how are you today?
Good. Doing really good. Yourself?
Doing amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't we
Yeah.
dive right in and talk about the project that you're working on, and maybe start at like a 50,000 foot high level so that even the noobs can understand.
Yeah, of course. So I've been in the gaming industry now for nearly 10 years, product gaming.
Okay.
And what essentially Play does is that it turbocharges games, players, AI agents, all on chain. I think, what we really want to empower is everybody to come on chain to essentially, have the opportunity of ownership, have the opportunity of decentralization, have the opportunity of globalization, and just the freedom to move from one space to another and own that footprint and own your rewards and your identity. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of their digital identities. And I
Hmm.
think the world of Web3 allows us to capture it. And that's part of play. I mean, when you're a player, when you're engaging in games, when you're competing, when you're winning, when you're losing, it really goes on to create this, identity. And
Yeah.
that's what play is,
Okay.
essentially. We're turbocharging all of that.
Fantastic. I mean, wasn't the impetus behind like Ethereum because he was pissed off because they took away one of his items in game and he was like, "Oh God, that should never
Exactly.
happen," right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
so historically behind all that. So, I mean, that's fantastic that you're turbocharging these things. Any particular games you guys, kind of lean towards or stand behind under the platform? Is there a particular
No.
favorite, or is it kind of
Yeah.
a mix of everything?
It's definitely a mix of everything. I think the idea here is that we're turbocharging every game for every single type of player. So
Hmm.
if it be, more of a AAA game all the way down to hyper casual games. I think something that Telegram taught us is people just want to play things that are fun, fast, and that they connect really easily, and that's mobile gaming. I've
Hmm.
been obviously a huge mobile gamer myself. This is what brought me into gaming.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's like if a developer is dreaming it, we want to help them bring it on chain and then, essentially bring everything in it to just make that experience even ever so better. And any
Hmm.
player that just feels like, they want to play a match-3 game or a first-person shooter, go for it. And we want to sort of support that.
Okay. So someone is brand new. They've never heard of you guys
Mhm.
before. They finally hear about
Yeah.
you. What are the three wishes that you grant a brand new user when they join the community? Like what are the things that are troubling them? They're like, oh yeah, I wish we could really do
Yeah.
that or whatever. What are those three wishes? If play was a genie, what three wishes would you grant?
So the first one is own that identity, right?
Okay.
We're even seeing things like meta and so on, like going back to that thesis of like, owning that identity, having less of a, outside world sort of like coming encroaching. We
Hmm.
want you to own your identity, your rewards, even if you're just playing. And like I said, you're not winning or losing, you're just playing that time is capital. Like it's
Yeah.
worth something. So one, we want to give you your player on-chain identity.
Okay.
Two, we want to connect you to anything you want to be connected to. Games shouldn't only live in the app stores. Games should live wherever you are. You're somewhere, you need to spend time doing something, or you just have an urge for connectivity, you should be able to game. Gaming in part is a community experience. Even if you're doing it
Mhm.
alone, it's still a community experience because there's somebody else playing that exact game as you are, and probably you have a
Maybe you're
connection there
stuck and you're
somewhere.
asking for help on a puzzle or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. I think the second part is just, again, just cross gaming, cross connectivity, cross community, just
Hmm.
taking part of that on-chain digital world. And that's the second thing we want to give. And
Okay.
then the third thing is we want to get the ability for people to interact with the most highly sophisticated technology. We're really big fans of AI agents. Why? Because they're going to take part in everything that we do. And on the gaming
Hmm.
side, we look at AI agents as another form of being a player. Maybe you're
Okay.
going to own a few AI agents that essentially are going to be part of your like team in that game. Or you're going to use a co-pilot to help you be ever so better in whatever game you're doing. Or maybe your favorite like Twitch streamer is actually going to be an AI agent. It's going to be ingrained in the entertainment that we consume. And we
Mm,
want players to be able to easily access that. Part of what we do is just make tech incredibly seamless because Web3 for a lot is still kind of overly complicated and it's kind of out of grasp. We want to take
mhm.
that away. Our idea
Okay.
is that everyone deserves the democratization of technology, and we want to just like connect everybody to it.
Fantastic. So if I were to sum it up, the first wish is
Yeah,
identity, second wish is community, third wish is AI, and it's all wrapped up in simplicity so that
exactly.
anybody can use it. That sounds fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
those they say all work and no play makes you dull. But I mean, I was gonna ask you. I mean, like your job is literally game, so that's awesome. So,
Exactly. I can't
but
complain.
when you're not building the infrastructure, when you're not building play, what do you do for fun?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually a mother. I have two kids, and I
Okay,
just love hanging out with my children. And really interestingly enough, there are two young boys and they play games. So what do I do in my free time? I play games.
that's awesome.
So I mean, they're obsessed with different games. My 4-year-old is already playing PlayStation.
Nice.
He's all over like Hot Wheel games. Like it's just I just love seeing gaming in their eyes because for
Mhm.
them, they're seeing like when my son, for example, builds something, uh, he assumes that he owns it. And that assumption is the right assumption to have.
Oh, there
And
you
I
go.
think that's sort of like what, is inspiring us at the Play team to kind of keep this going, because essentially that's the truth behind it. Like what
Right.
we consume, create, and so on, our identities, but we own them.
Right, that makes sense. If I can get my
Yeah.
kids to play anything besides Roblox, that would be great. So that's all they do all day long, Roblox, the whole time. I'm like, all right, guys,
Well, they're
let's pick a different game.
storytellers.
Yeah, let's pick a different one. So yeah, yeah. But that's fantastic. So any
Yeah.
particular games that you play on your own? That's not with the kids, just on your own solo?
Oh my God, not anymore, and like too much, but
Mm,
essentially yeah, I mean, I haven't played like much except for our clients' games.
right.
Literally. And what my children have been playing. I mean, I think for us, we've just been all heads down building. And that's the comment we have. We have some big League of Legends
Yeah.
players in our team, and they're like, oh, like I haven't played for a long time, and they just want to jump into it. And I think for us, it's just, yeah, we want more creation, more people building games.
Fair enough. No, I don't know. When I had kids, I just got insta old, and all I do is mobile gaming now. So I just play what
Yeah, I still do a lot of mobile gaming.
Clash Royale and maybe a little bit of
Exactly.
Magic the Gathering, and that's about it. That's all I have time for. After you have kids, you don't get as much time to game like in the good old days. So there you go. All right. Well, question number three, um, and we're wrapping it up here. This is kind of just like the ending here, where it's what do you want to build, like community wise? Like where do you want to build people, and why should they come to the community? Like let's give them an offer to come join, and like let's put it out there.
Yeah. I mean, what we really want is also to create a space where developers and players are closer,
Mm,
meaning that developers are able to really ask community like what they want to play, what they hope developers are building. We've built a bunch of infrastructure essentially to even grassroots funding.
mm,
I think indie developers are going to be the ones that come up with the next big games. Obviously, I think
right.
in the Web3 space, we need new storytelling. We need new storytellers, and we need people to want to play new stories essentially,
Mm,
and we are building a foundation to be able to have players invest in games directly from the early start, which gives a nice push for indie developers to bring these stories to life. So our goal is really for community to really to really want to be part of the gaming experience and
Hmm.
the development and the building of the games. And that's really who we want to come to the Play community. Whoever loves games, whoever likes looking at games. Some people just love being on Twitch and looking at streamers, and that's great because it's still gaming. You're just enjoying gameplay. People who want to support games, fun games, people who love the stories and the art of games. I mean, there are literally people out there that are fan of game art. Like, we want them to come to our community, enjoy it, see what creators are building, support those creators building different assets in games. So that's really who we want in our community, and hopefully it just keeps on growing as it
That's
already has.
awesome. So yeah,
Yeah,
democratizing the games and making it so that the players can invest and tell,
correct.
hey, we want to build this and this is how we want to play. That's kind of
Correct.
the best of both
Yeah.
worlds, right? Because the developers, they don't necessarily know what people want, and people, they don't necessarily talk to the devs, and the whole line of what's coming up next
Yeah.
and all the new features don't necessarily get out there, right? So I like what you're building because
Exactly.
then, they get to build it together.
Correct. Exactly. And I think
Fantastic.
that's the future of Web3 is really this community and organization to just build really good product.
And what's the platform you want people to join? Is it X? Is it Discord? Is it where do you want
X.
people to
I
go?
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, go
X.
to our X. That's where you're going to get all the information. It's 0xplay_network.
Okay.
We have a bunch of announcements coming out, a bunch of new product. Keep an eye out. We just hope to see you there.
That's awesome. That sounds like a fantastic project. So, I mean,
Yeah,
isn't that living the dream essentially? People say,
it
well,
is.
I wish I could play for work, and here you are doing it for real, right?
Yeah, and I'm enabling people to make those games I want to play, which I think is the best place to be.
Mm, fantastic. Well, yeah. Then the players get what they want. The developers get happy customers. They make
Yeah,
money.
and the
Everybody.
creators get to create with
Yeah.
IP that's amazing and being built. I think we're in a great time of gaming, and it's just becoming. And I think there's like I said, there's the developers, there's the players, there's the creators, and now there's this added level of AI agents that just brings it even more interesting in this whole storytelling and as stories continue. And it's a wonderful time to be in gaming right now.
Fantastic. Well, to wrap it up, is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers? Is there any questions you think I didn't ask or places you want to explore?
No.
Where do you want to take it for the finality here?
Yeah, 2025 is the time to invest and support gaming. We're seeing that the gaming narrative is starting to brew again. I think you're going to see that it's all about builders building, new stories being told, more players being interested in being part of those storytelling, amazing art, amazing game art and visuals. We're
Hmm.
looking at games like Off the Grid, which is saying, hey, we are a AAA game, like come and play us. And, players are really engaging with that. I think 2025 is really the resurgence of gaming. And for anybody who's kind of been bored about what's been happening in Web 2, try out Web 3 gaming. You're gonna maybe find something you really, really like.
Absolutely. Well, I like how the fact that you guys put together the communities around just the art and even
Absolutely.
like the
Yeah.
music of gaming. I got to admit now that you
Absolutely.
bring it up, I'm a piano player, so I like playing the pieces from like Final Fantasy. And so if
Yeah,
communities got together around that, that
exactly.
that doesn't exist technically right now. So that'd be so cool
Exactly.
to put together.
We want to enable people who create music to actually sell them in games. I think developers are looking for content. Music is a really important content in games. Sometimes you just play a certain way because of the music and the background of it.
I will admit
So
I have
yeah.
dusted off some old ass Nintendo games to pull out just to hear that music from nostalgia times. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly. So yeah, big fan of that.
Well, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the project. This sounds like a really fun place to be and a really cool community. Everybody, if you are interested
Awesome.
in the gaming space, go check out what Christina's working on, and definitely go follow them on X. And yeah, I'll probably
Yeah.
see you. I'll probably see you in the games then.
Sounds awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.